Alright, this is a little less exciting project, but I thought it'd be fun to share. I'm gonna make myself a fire pit for in the backyard, and this is just a recycled 24.5-inch semi truck wheel, and you can get them for free. The holes wear out over time, and so if you go to a commercial truck center, they'll probably give you one. That's where I got mine. This one even was going to get reconditioned, but it failed their inspection, so it even was sandblasted before they were going to powder coat it, so it's bare steel, so even better. But this isn't just, I have one right now that I've been using before. It's only a 22.5-inch, so it's a little bit smaller, but that is just a wheel with bricks around it. And this one, I'm getting a little more creative here. You can see I've got some stuff going on. I'm actually cutting the wheel in half, which you have to be careful with. You have to spread the wheel out, because as you cut it, it wants to snap back together and it'll grab your blades and it'll kind of ruin your day. But I'm cutting it in half, and I'm going to mount some form of a hinge so that you can open the front side, because I like to do a lot of backyard, bonfire, campfire, whatever you want to call it. I spend a lot of time outside during the summertime. And as it gets later in the year, it gets pretty cool out. And when you've got all the bricks, all your nice bricks and stuff stacked between you and the fire, your feet always freeze. You might be sweating from, the waist up, but your toes are frozen, so you got them setting right over the fire to try and stay warm. Whereas with this idea, I'll be able to just move my bricks around or even stack them around the backside and open the front of the fire pit, and then you can have full heat getting right at you, and it'll be a heat reflector even, so you'll be able to go well into the fall and be perfectly comfortable outside hanging out around the fire still. But the chains, I just hung the chains and the vice grips and stuff. Those are just there to kind of deaden it, because it gets really it's really ringy when you're cutting it. It'll make you go deaf. So I hung this to kind of absorb some of those harmonics like you would with an anvil, and it worked really well. It's just junk I had laid around the shop here. But my poor little grinder's, she's getting a little warm. It's a cheap, like $20 grinder, so I'm giving it a break now, and I figured I'd throw the camera on and give you a shot. We'll get up close here and I'll kind of go more in depth and show you what I'm doing. Alright, here we are closer up now. This is an inside. You can see it's a lot of grinding. There's just piles of steel. It smells like a foundry in my garage right now, because this is hard, heavy, thick steel. It's probably at least 1/4 inch in most spots. But I've cut it clean. Well, it'll block all your light for you. Cut it clean through, all the way down and around. The creative part, you got to get a little funky with the grinder, is in the dish part, there's actually 2 layers you have to cut through. You have the outer lip here, and then the inner dish that's welded on. And I want to cut it clear down and then around the edge, so that the full round circle will stay. It'll stay with the back portion, so it's got a nice, good foundation to balance on. And another note, they've always got these holes, these hand holes for reaching through to check your air pressures on the wheels. And I cut it between the two because they work really well. Just the one I have outside that I'm using now, they work really well if you leave a gap in your bricks as an airflow, and your fire burns really good. And so I figured I would, doing it this way, when you flip the front half up there in the back of your fire pit, you'll still have an excellent airflow feeding your fire, so you're not going to choke it out. Not that you would, because the front will be wide open, but they're there, so I'm going to make the most of them. And another thing, just more for cosmetics, where is it at? Right by the one hand hole is your valve stem hole, and I'm leaving that on the stationary side that won't swing, so you never see it. Otherwise, when you fold it up, you'll see a valve stem hole, right up pointing at your face, and it'll just be an eyesore. So I mean, it's gonna look like crap anyways. It's gonna get all rusty and burnt up, but it's, every little thing you can do to make a homemade project look a little bit more decent. And if it is hot out and you don't need to have it folded up, it's going to be perfectly, you can just fold it flat like it is right now, and once I have a hinge there, and you can even put your bricks, stack your bricks neatly around it, and you'd never even know that it flips up. But then as it starts cooling off in the fall, you can throw your bricks and pile them around the backside as more of a heat, a heat shield to keep your heat going towards you where you want it to, and flip the lid up, and now you have a fireplace, like a proper fireplace outside. But I'll show you the process. There's been a lot of cutting, so I'll just give you a shot of me doing some work here, and hopefully as it progresses I'll keep updating it. Thanks. And another thing, I mean, I don't know, it's probably not the safest operation, but you may have noticed my awesome helmet that I got is just a paintball mask, and I wear it a lot. I use it more than safety glasses because when I'm under a vehicle and I'm cutting exhaust, or there's always it keeps all the crap off your face, and it's goggles, so your eyes are well protected, and it's just it seems to be a lot more convenient than safety glasses because you have a lot less risk of shit getting around. I've gotten so much stuff in my eye even though I was wearing safety glasses, so this seems to be the answer, and they're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. A good pair of safety glasses costs more than these do. And I'm wearing my welding gloves for cutting just because it's the only decent pair of leather gloves I have in the shop right now. So let's cut some steel. Whoo, she is slow going. We're about a little over halfway through, but it's really binding up. So I've still got my my chisel there. I've got one, poor man's pry bar pounded in. It's squeezing in right there, and I've got another one over here, just trying to open that gap up a little bit as I go. I mean, once I get to the end, she's probably gonna spring him a thing and do some, try and jump out of there. I mean, and this baby's heavy. I'd say, at least 75 pounds, probably 60, 70 pounds. But, well, we'll keep plugging away at it and just see what we can get done here in the next few minutes. Here we go. Yeah. Reposition the wedges. Get the screwdrivers pounded in. But, I don't know if you guys can see this. About 5 inches, 4.5 inches left to go here. Just connecting the lines. But, you see right there, hole's bad. That's why she was junk. That little bit left in my poor little grinder, she's starting to smell a bit toasty, so we're going to let her cool off for a minute. And just to show you guys how much spring-a thing is in there, let's see if I can get this out. Ready? Come on. Oh, she's loosening. We're getting somewhere. She's giving her up. This side is still mashed up tight as could be, but that side, it's, I suppose there's not much meat left doing the work, but we'll give the old grinder a break. Onto the 4th cutting wheel there. Got a whole arsenal of them ready to go. But once she's cooled off, we'll get her fired up. I think we got through. Oh, you son of a gun. Once again, steel toes, just in case. Oh, she's hanging by a thread. That's the spot. Just make some noise. Come on, girl. Oh, man. Right there. Oh, that was a lot of work, but it looks good. Strangely magnetic for some reason. I don't know if it's from the grinder or what, but that's, if anybody's ever wanted to see the cross section of the 22.5, this is what I was talking about, where you had the two layers that were stuck. Look at all the filings. I mean, this is crazy. I'm going to be sweeping these things up for months. We'll drift them right there. But this is what I mean, where this will be the... This will become the basin, the main portion. And that'll be the lid, if you want to call it. That'll come back up and set on the top. So let's get her back on the table, a little wheelie table, and mock it up and see how it looks. Alright, there we go. And you know, I'm awfully impressed with myself, because for eyeball measurements, I got that really close to perfectly in half. I mean, that is, we're off by, what, 1/8 of an inch maybe? And that's probably not even perfectly lined up. I bet we're damn near spot on. But now the next step, well, I gotta grind. I'm gonna take all the sharp edges off everything, round it all off, because I mean, yeah, you'll have a fire there, but if you fall in the fire, you don't want to add, you know, cuts to burns as well. But we're gonna have to mount, you know, make some form of a hinge here, which will probably just be a pin and a washer welded on. I don't know. Well, it doesn't have to be nothing fancy, because it's just got to be strong so that it can get burnt all the time and still work. But that's where we're at, and I never even thought of this, but this backside here, the hand hole, when it's folded down, will be air feed, like an air tube, a flue for the fire, but when it's up, it'll kind of be a half little chimney to hopefully maybe try and draw some more smoke out the back. Definitely looks interesting, that's for sure. But we'll do just a smidge more work here, and we'll bring you back in just a minute. check this out. Fold it up. Fold it down. Okay? Now, I mean, it don't line up perfect, but I mean, I can still move stuff around, so that's not a huge deal. And honestly, it's a fire pit, so I might be okay. This side over here, this side lined up pretty well. I'm not sure what I did differently, but I just took those bolts and the little pins and just welded the pin to one half, the bolt to the other half. They obviously can't come apart because the beetle can't move, so. But it works pretty good. Kind of stoked about that. That's going to be pretty sweet. In hindsight, though, I may take the corners up here. I might cut the corners off and actually weld them down here. So there's a little bit more of a bowl because it ends really sharply. And if you have firewood in here, I don't want it all completely falling out. I want to be able to kind of keep it in there. And that'll be one less really sharp corner on the top half. So I'll probably cut that back at an angle and take it and just re-weld it back here, no big deal. And then grind everything down and maybe go out in the snow today and have a little test burn and see how it works. Alright, I've been thinking of looking at this for a while, and I changed my mind about cutting the ears off because I'm kind of forgetting I'm going to have, you know, a brick barrier around it anyways, so that'll be fine. And it's nice, clean. I think it'll work best. I will grind them back quite a bit and make sure they're not razor sharp, which I'm going to do right now. Just deburr and get all the sharp edges off. But to be honest, I think it's done, other than you know, grinding sharp edges down. So, and I'll probably end up staking it down in the yard, you know, run a yard stake down through one of these bolt holes. I mean, I've got 10 holes to use, so it's pretty convenient. And I might, you know, anchor it down to the ground just because it gets very back heavy when it's folded up. I will have bricks around the back side to support it, but you know, why have it all weeabling around if you can avoid it? So here we go. I'm going to start doing some grinding now. It's definitely hot enough. That theory works insanely well. It is pumping the heat out here. So that's gonna be I mean, look at the heat rolling out. You can see the heat waves. That's gonna be a major improvement over what we have, which, by the way, what we have is buried out in the yard there somewhere. Heck, that's my grill. And that was, well, the sun's melting it off, but it was completely level full, and now this drift is coming up the house windows. It's 4 or 5 feet deep on the deck. Last couple days have done damage though. Heck, just this, even along the sides here used to be taller than my snowblower was. I dare say spring is here. Everything's melting off pretty good now.